When TerraFlex started its Falcon Shock division, the steering stabilizer shock was one of those products that we really wanted to enhance and improve on, and just get it right. I got some more good news for you. We haven't forgotten the often neglected TJ guy. That's right, we made a steering stabilizer shock for you. You may ask yourself, do I even need a stabilizer shock? Yeah, at least the engineers at Jeep think so. And that's why they've included one as standard equipment on each and every straight axle Jeep they build. And they supply a pretty good little shock. It's actually better than quite a few of the aftermarket stabilizers we've tested. Let's see if we can establish a few things we need to look for in a good steering stabilizer. Number one, ease of mounting. The shock should be designed as a direct bolt-up fit. I mean, you can buy an aftermarket shock that has a lot of brackets and things, and you can make it work. But if it's not tuned directly to your Jeep, it's not going to work like it should. Number two, by mounting the shock above the tie rod, it'll give that shock body an added layer of protection against rock rash. Number three, we want our stabilizer shock to run as parallel as possible to the tie rod or drag link. That'll reduce any tie rod flop. Any flop in that tie rod will reduce shock efficiency. 4, the stabilizer mounts need to be resistant to movement. Any movement in those mounts, again, will reduce that shock efficiency. Number 5, equal resistance. On a standard gas-charged steering stabilizer, you'll find that as the shaft extends, it will actually cause your Jeep to pull or drift a little bit to the left. With Falcon's EF, or equal force steering stabilizer, the force is balanced, so the shaft doesn't extend. It'll cause no pull. Number 6, you need to have some quality construction. The thing with Falcon steering stabilizers is that they're made with all the same components as all of the other Falcon shocks. Hard anodized aluminum body, 1,000-hour salt spray test. All of the components that we find in our other shocks are also included in the Falcon steering stabilizer. Number 7, that's not something we even consider a lot of times in a steering stabilizer, but that shock should be tuned to your Jeep. Too firm of a shock, and you won't get returned to center, and it'll wander down the road. Too weak of a shock, and you won't get that stability that you need. Even if you aren't having steering shimmy issues, having a Falcon shock is a noticeable drivability improvement. But if you're getting a little hint of a wobble, taming that beast before it turns into a full-blown death wobble will save costly steering and suspension damage. Now obviously, if you have loose components, they need to be corrected. But sometimes you'll just get that perfect storm. A little bit of tire balance, maybe just a little bit of looseness in a bushing, in a track bar. And they can all combine and work against you when you hit that bump in the road. With the Falcon steering stabilizer, it'll help control all those little issues you might have. It will act as the great equalizer.